This is Oh So Geeky's instructional guide on how to sew a My Little Pony plush. This video will show you how to put together the pony plush pattern available on the Oh So Geeky website. You can get the pattern for free at ohsogeeky.com. A full link is also provided in the description of this video. The first step is to cut out your pattern pieces. Put your pattern down on the fabric and trace around it, then cut out the pieces. Make sure to leave yourself some room around the edges of the fabric on all sides. This will give you a seam allowance. When you draw your patterns onto the fabric, make sure the ink is always drawn on the wrong side of the fabric. That's the blank side if you're working with a fabric with a design printed on it. Here are the pieces you'll need to have cut out. 2 main body pieces, 1 regular and 1 flipped. 2 sets of legs, 1 regular and 1 flipped. 2 ears, each cut from a double layer of fabric. If you're using fabric with a right side, make sure the right sides are together when you cut these out. You'll also need 4 hooves, these are just circles. 1 nose bridge, this is the long piece, it goes down the middle of the pony's face. If you're making a unicorn, you'll need 1 horn cut from a double layer of fabric. If you're making a Pegasus, you'll need each wing cut out of a double layer of fabric, and the outer feathers cut out of a double layer as well. Once you have the pieces cut out, you can begin pinning them together. Start with one of your 2 main body pieces. Attach the matching set of legs. You can tell which legs are correct by matching the 2 pieces back to back. The matching legs won't face the same direction when the inked side is up. Make sure the inked side is on the outside, and place the pieces on top of each other, lining them up as best you can. Use pins to help make sure your lines are perfectly lined up as you can get them. Starting on corners is the easiest. Do the same for the other side of the body. Now we're ready to sew. When sewing these together, each half of the body will be sewn with 3 stitches. 1 goes from here to here. 1 goes from here to here. And 1 goes from here to here. Leave the base of each hoof open for now. When you sew these pieces, sew directly on the line you drew. Next, you'll put the darts in the face and the flank. To sew these up, just pinch them together and sew along the line. Adding these darts will help these areas remain curved when the plush is stuffed. Do the same with the other side as well. The 2 sides should be mirror images of one another. Next, look at the ears. Make sure they're right side up by comparing them to your pattern. Mark the bottom corners of the ears so you can easily see where to sew, from one side to the other. Sew both pieces from pin to pin, making sure to follow your pattern line as closely as possible. Only sew from one pin, around the top, to the other pin. Leave the bottom open. Once the ears have been sewn, snip some notches around the curves. This keeps the fabric from bunching up. Turn them inside out and fold the front edge over. Pin it in place and sew. Going back to the 2 body halves, snip the curves on the legs where you've already sewn. Make sure to clip any sharp corners and along curved edges. Next, we'll join together the 2 body halves. Use the piece labeled nose. Find the point where the lines pinch in. This point will attach to the very top of the nose on the body halves. When piecing together the body, remember that the side with the ink on it is always supposed to stay on the outside. This will keep you from being able to see the ink lines on the finished product. Pin the nose piece to the 2 body pieces, starting at the top of the nose and working your way around both sides at the same time. Work carefully, matching the lines on both pieces as accurately as possible. Before you can sew, you'll need to add the ears. Use your pattern to see where the ears should go, and mark those locations with pins. Sew up your lines, skipping the area where the ears will go. Do the same on both sides. Once the sides are sewn together, you'll need to clip the corners at the top half of the plush, just like earlier with the bottom half. Be sure to get both sides. Flip the head inside out to get a general idea of the shape of the head. Find the ear holes and use them to line up the ears. Make sure they're facing the right direction. The fold goes in the front. Pin them into place and flip the head inside out again. Repin from the inside and sew into place. While your plush is still inside out, stuff one of the legs. This will make it easy to add the hoof to the bottom because the leg will hold its shape. Place the fabric circle over the bottom of the leg. Hand stitch into place. Repeat on all 4 hoofs. A pattern for the hair is not included to encourage imaginative solutions. I draw my hair designs and then cut them out of fabric. You could do the same, or you could use yarn, synthetic hair, or strips of fabric to create the mane and tail. Do whatever you like best. Pony hair can typically be separated into 3 sections. The bangs, which are the chunk of hair in front of the ear, the main portion of the hair, which is the chunk of hair behind the ear, and the tail. If you take your cutout paper pattern, you can use it to mark where you would like each of the pieces of hair to attach to the head. Make sure you make the hair a bit bigger than you think it needs to be. It always looks much smaller on the plush than it does on the pattern. Take your in-progress plush and flip the legs right side out. Line your pattern up on top of your plush and use the hair lines you just drew to mark the beginning and ending of your pony's hairline. At the points you just drew, draw matching points on the top of the head. Cut a straight line from one dot to the other. Try to keep this line as straight as possible. Turn the head inside out. Place the hair how you want it to be, pinning carefully from the inside. Do this for the hair, bangs, and tail. Fold over the excess fabric from the long nose piece and pin the tail under it. Sew all 3 hair pieces in place from underneath. You may need to hand stitch this if you can't reach it with your machine. Once the hair is in place, flip the plush and start stuffing. Pack the pony fairly tight. When you feel that the pony is adequately stuffed, you'll need to close the opening. I like to hand sew this closed. Start your stitch with a knot at the base of the tail and work your way around to the chin, folding over the edges as you go. Add eyes and whatever kind of cutie mark you'd like. If you're making a unicorn, add your horn. If you're making a Pegasus, add your wings. And there you have your very own homemade pony plush. Enjoy!